Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome again. Today, what I want to go over is the common mistakes that many educators make when they are teaching writing. All right, so let's begin. Again, I am Zahra Usman. I hope you're liking this series. Let me know, inshallah, if there's any other things that would like me to cover, whether it be, I plan to cover reading as well, inshallah, but if there's any other things that you would like for me to cover that you're finding a hard time when it comes to teaching your students or your learners or your children, please do leave a comment, inshallah ta'ala, and I will try to make a video on that. But today what I wanted to go over are the common mistakes that teachers make when they're teaching writing, because I think it's important to address, all right? And I think it comes from just not knowing what the writing curriculum requires or what the goal of writing is. And so yeah, I want to help you out with that today. The first mistake that teachers or educators make is focusing so much on conventions. If you haven't watched my video on the Writing Curriculum Simplified, please do check that out. I talk about the different things that make up the writing curriculum. But the one mistake that many teachers make is they focus so much on conventions, spelling and grammar and punctuation. Majority of their classes are about that, and then they give a test on that. But that's not the outcome. That's not your end goal. That's just some tools that they need to make their writing better. And so it shouldn't be a focus. It should be taught. Those things definitely should be taught, but they should not be the main focus. And also they should be when you're getting them to write, you want the student to focus on the ideas and communicating those ideas and coming up with really good ideas to communicate the message. They should not be focusing on spelling or grammar or punctuation while in the process of writing. When they're writing their first draft, they shouldn't even think, don't even worry if they ask you, how do I spell this, or how do I say this? You can help them, no problem, but tell them, don't worry about that. We'll fix the spelling afterwards. Because what that does is, if they are focused on the spelling and the grammar during the writing of whatever the topic is, then they're going to exert too much energy on that and not enough energy on the ideas. And it is really the ideas that matter. Nobody ever says, "Oh wow, this has such great spelling," or "Wow, like it's grammar free." No, people praise the idea, and at the end of it, it's how that piece of writing made them feel. Did it make them think? Did it have some kind of impact on them? And that comes from the ideas and how those ideas were laid out, and not the spelling. Another common mistake that teachers make is assigning one-take writing tasks. Like they'll give a topic, write a paragraph on this or write a story, and that will be the actual task, and then they take that task and then they evaluate it or they mark it. This is, I don't want to sound harsh, but I feel like this is really unjust to the child. And the reason why I say that is, if you are going to give them a task and you didn't show them how to do that task, and then you use that task to determine their level of writing, then it's really not fair, because those things don't come naturally. Writing is not something that comes naturally. Yes, there are some people who are far more talented than others. However, even with talent, you don't just automatically know how to write. It has to flow. There's kind of like a flow to it. It's kind of like long division, to be honest. When you are teaching students how to do long division, you don't just give them the task and tell them, go and solve this problem. You walk them through it. You say, okay, does this go into this number? Okay, then you carry it, and then you do this, and then whatever remainder, whatever. But basically, you show them on the board the process. Then you do it together. Then you send them off to go and do it on their own. And the writing is the same thing. You have to walk them through the process. So if you want them to write a story, for example, you have to teach them what a story is. What are the elements in a story? What does a good story have? You have to look at stories. Then perhaps you can write a story together, or you walk through stories, and then you get them to try it, and they do a first draft. Then they bring that first draft to you, and you look over it, and then you try to improve the first draft by adding better ideas, better sentences, better word choices, more voice, for example, then after that they go back and they fix it up and they try to make it better. Then they come back and now you edit for the spelling and the grammar and the conventions, and then you publish the final copy. But it's a process that you have to take their hand and walk them through it, modeling it first and then guiding them through it. Then after that, you can have them go and do it on their own. But initially, it should have been taught. So that's what I mean by um, teaching first. Now, does that mean you never assign one-take assignments? No, you can. Sure, why not? You give a topic and they write it. However, you have to have already taught them how to do this beforehand. If that makes sense to me. You cannot grade them on how to a proper paragraph that has all the things that a paragraph should have if you haven't taught them how to write a paragraph, if that makes sense, right? Now, this is not the same as journaling, and I'll talk about that later, like when you assign like journal topics and things like that. I'll get to that later. But the point here that I'm making is if you can't just have them just do a task and then whatever they publish, you judge them based on that, saying that, okay, you are at this level when it comes to writing, or you're a good writer, you're not a good writer, or okay, this is an A or whatnot. It's just not fair because how are they supposed to have known what they should have done, right? We evaluate things that we teach, not things that we expect this child to just automatically know, if that makes sense. Okay, another common mistake that teachers and educators make is not giving feedback or giving insufficient feedback. All right, so what's feedback? Feedback is critiquing or praising their work and offering them suggestions on how to make that work better. So writing is something that you get good at. Like I said, even the most talented writers, they get better because they are constantly receiving feedback and being told how they can improve the writing. And this is a very, very important part of teaching writing, that when the child writes something, that you give them feedback. And how is feedback done? It's done in 3 steps, okay? First, you want to offer praise. You want to praise them, and you want to offer a specific praise. You want to praise them specifically on something that they did well. So it's not enough just to say, good job, well done, I like your ideas, or I like the words that you use. No, be specific. Say, I love the way you use such and such word in this sentence. I like that you used varying sentences. For example, you used this particular sentence here, like pointing out what they did and exactly what it is that you liked about. I love that you use statistics to back up your arguments. Right? So this is a specific praise. So they know exactly what it is that they did well. And then you want to offer a criticism. Okay? What did they not do well? Where did they go wrong? For example, okay? And that also should be specific. For example, here you didn't give enough examples to back up this particular points. For example, you had 5 spelling errors, so you didn't edit it. You didn't do your editing well. Then after that, so first a praise, then a criticism, and then suggestions for improvements. So here is where you give a suggestion on how they can improve for the next time. The next time you can add more examples to back up this idea, or you can try whatever it may be, a suggestion that they understand they can go off with. An insufficient form of feedback is one that doesn't give them clear guidance on how to improve the next time. So saying things like, good job, well done, oh, that was fun, that sounded like a lot of fun. Like, these are nice, encouraging words, but they're not feedback that will help them be better writers. They have their place, but if you want to produce better writers, you need to give more. You need to give a more. You need to be more specific in your feedback. And the fourth common mistake, or the last one that I want to share today, that teachers or educators make, is not being clear on their expectations, or not giving clear expectations. Okay, when you assign a task, so you assign a task and you intend to mark this task, or you intend to you want them to do a good job. Now, you can't expect the child to do everything well unless you have spent time teaching them everything, right? So sometimes you want to just focus on certain things. Maybe you're just focusing on the ideas. So you'll tell them, this is what I'm looking for. And if it's, you taught them paragraph writing, you taught them all the steps that are involved in how to write a paragraph. And if you're interested in learning how to teach paragraph writing, I do have a course on that. Inshallah, just leave a comment or get in touch with me. Inshallah, I'll set that up. I think you'll find it very beneficial in that. But what I mean by giving clear expectations is you tell them exactly what you're looking for when you're going to mark this piece of writing, okay? That means you may give them a rubric or you may give them a checklist, and you will tell them what a good piece of writing looks like, what an average piece of writing looks like, and what an unsatisfactory piece of writing would look like. So they are very clear. They know exactly what they need to do in order for them to perform well. So you may use a rubric for that, if that would be very helpful. But the most important thing is that they know exactly what you want from them, right? Unless it's just something you're just saying, okay, just, do whatever. But there should always be something that you are looking for so that they have some guidance on what it is that they're trying to build, right? Now, if you think that this is restricting their creativity and that they should have that choice, there's a place for that. But when you're teaching, when you're doing the actual teaching, you're trying to develop specific skills, then you want to kind of corner them or force them to use what they learn to be able to use those skills that you're trying to teach, right? So if I'm teaching paragraph writing, and if I'm teaching how to write let's say a persuasive paragraph, and then they submit to me a narrative paragraph, then this means that I don't have proof here that you know how to write a persuasive paragraph, if that makes sense. All right, so what about journal writing, or does this mean that I can't just assign a task and just have them do it? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Journal writing is a great way, or non-judgmental writing is a great way to get them to be confident writers, because they get to write and express themselves as they please. And there is definitely a place for that, and I highly encourage it. And I'm doing that with my daughter as a way to get her to start being comfortable with writing. She has a journal, and then I may give her a topic, or I'll just give her some prompts, or just kind of leave it open-ended as well, like write something that you're grateful about, or write what you did over the weekend, for example. And then she writes what she wants to write, and then I leave a comment that is non-judgmental at all. I don't look at the spelling, I don't look at the grammar, I don't look at the idea, I don't look at the length. I mean, after some time, I will kind of just nudge her to make it a bit longer, to add more information, things like that. But it's kind of non-judgmental. I only leave a positive comment, like that is relevant to what she wrote. So if she's telling a story, I'll say, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Or if she says, I'm grateful for this and this, I'll mention that, alhamdulillah, I'm also grateful for these things as well, and so on. And so, but here, this is not the teaching, right? I'm not trying to develop her into a good writer through this process. This process is kind of to have her associate good feelings with writing. But if I wanted to mark it and judge her writing, no, I'm not going to use this use this journal, if that makes sense. So there's definitely a place for that in the classroom. I highly do, or in the home, and I highly encourage that they do have like some non-judgmental writing. But that's not what I'm talking about here. Here I'm talking about the actual teaching, developing, growing and improving them as writers. Hopefully that makes sense, right? I hope you enjoyed that. Inshallah ta'ala, let me know, and do leave a comment, and yes, please press the like button, because it helps the video reach more people. YouTube will start recommending it to more people, and do share it if you found it beneficial. Inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.